In 1970, I was diagnosed as having a cancer, a non-cancerous tumor in the third, fourth, and fifth vertebrae. And I was sent to a hospital in Cleveland. They did an operation, and it told me at the end of it, it would take about 25 years for it to come back, 20 to 25 years. At the end of 35 years, I had moved to Knoxville, and it did come back. They sent me to Vanderbilt for treatment there. And at the end of the treatment at Vanderbilt, I was given a 2-week period to rest and then come back and visit with them. When I went back, they indicated they were able to remove 80% of the tumor, but could not do anything further for me, period. And they said that I was fortunate living in Knoxville. At the University of Tennessee Medical Center, they had a CyberKnife treatment, and that they could probably help me. I was a physical fitness person. I was a professional athlete, and I had thought I had a great life ahead of me. It almost jerked the rug out from under me, and at the time there was nothing like CyberKnife. They had to do the trimming and cutting, and they couldn't see as well in the pictures as they can now. And whenever I found about the CyberKnife and researched it and found how it worked, I realized that I was very fortunate to be here at the time I was. Well, I did research it very thoroughly, and I do have an engineering background, and I understand technical things, and I looked at what the equipment was capable of doing, and I realized there was nothing else around that could trim things and cut things with high-intensity radiation as accurately as this CyberKnife could. And it could do that at such degree that you could just penetrate with high-intensity radiation at the exact spot you needed it, and it didn't affect the tissues around it. And that was ideal for what I had. In my opinion, it was not necessary to use that on a large tumor, but with a smaller tumor in a critical area like a brain or a spine, there is nothing else that will do that. The slow-growing tumor was situated such that it was pressing against the main artery, and it had already depressed it a fair amount. Whenever I left the hospital, there was nothing else they could do about it. So had I not come here where they could trim that tumor off on that area that was pressed against the artery, I would have certainly had a stroke. They told me that at the hospital, and when I got here, they confirmed it. And if I had the stroke and I did nothing, I would be dead in a short time. So I knew that was the option. There was no option but to find something that could do it or take the penalty, and I decided to opt for the CyberKnife because it could do what I needed. The treatment is fantastic. First, I think that the way that this department approaches anything, especially the way Dr. Bertoli and Dr. Green approaches things, they explain fully what they're going to do. Dr. Bertoli took me in and showed me all the equipment, explained how it worked, and I understood how it worked. And that just gives you a good feeling when somebody takes that kind of time. But what really impressed me and makes me feel even better about it, because I do come back each year now, and sometime I may have to have another treatment, but this time I have not. But he goes through with the MRIs each year and shows me exactly how much it's grown and what problems I can expect and when I can expect it. He can't put an exact date, but you can see by looking at it that, you got a little bit more time. Well, I tell them it's a device that does deliver high-intensity radiation in the form of X-rays to an exact, very accurate, very minuscule spot. It can get down in the micro areas and measurements of things they want to do. So if you have a problem that needs radiation, it can be used for even larger tumors, but the real value of this machine is in the critical areas like spines and brains and things of that nature. There's other areas also. But I tell them that if you're going to use it, it is good to have something that you can control the radiation and not damage the tissue around the other areas that you don't really want to affect. And this unit can do it. Namely, it can use it by the tying it back into the picture of an MRI, which can make the proper adjustments around as it goes. It's an ideal instrument. It allows you to be treated without any uncomfortable time spent there, and it allows you to even go back to work. I went back to work the very next work day after I had my 5 consecutive days of treatment. And if you do it on one, you could go back to work the same day you have it. It doesn't affect you that much at all.